Thanks for inviting us in. It's now 11 o'clock, and here we are just hours away from opening statements in the Delphi murders trial. People, believe it or not, are already lining up outside the Carroll County Courthouse for their chance to see these proceedings in person. It has taken more than 7 years now to get to this moment. Richard Allen, charged with killing teenagers Abby Williams and Libby German back in February of 2017. 2,804 days later, this case finally goes before a jury. We've got team coverage for you tonight at 11. That includes what life will look like for those jurors and questions that still have to be answered. Our senior investigative reporter Bob Siegel has been in Delphi all day, and tonight Bob explains the flurry of activity to get ready for this trial.
Most of that activity is here at the Carroll County Courthouse. It is the epicenter of a trial that is expected to be one of the most high profile and one of the most expensive in Indiana history. As law enforcement beefed up security outside the courthouse, inside,
the trial expenses, this is an additional.
County council members met to approve an extra $2.2 million for trial expenses.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0.
Carroll County now plans to spend $4.3 million on the trial of Richard Allen. It'll take place inside this courtroom where Thursday afternoon, Judge Frances Gall met with 13 News and other media to answer questions. She talked about security measures like this new fencing and tarps on the west side of the courthouse. She said it's intentional to protect the identity and safety of jurors as they enter and exit the courthouse. The judge also told us more about what's happening with those jurors who were transported today to a hotel closer to Delphi. She said they have all turned in their cell phones and electronic devices and will only be able to get them back to talk with family and friends in the presence of a bailiff. The judge said the sequestered jurors will have no TVs or phones in their hotel rooms and can only watch TV or movies in a common room, again in the presence of court security. And while the judge expects each trial day to last from approximately 9 till 6, she said she may end some days early based on how jurors are doing, especially on days they must see or hear very disturbing evidence and testimony. The jurors will be here at the courthouse for opening statements tomorrow morning. 13 News will be here too. There are no cameras allowed inside the courtroom. However, 13 News was selected as one of 12 media organizations that will be inside the courtroom for tomorrow's opening arguments. We will have team coverage tomorrow, and we will be here in Carroll County at the courthouse for every day of the Delphi murders trial to bring you firsthand accounts from inside the courtroom. In Delphi, Bob Siegel, 13 News.
Now, tomorrow we do expect at least one ruling from Judge Gall. She's going to decide whether to allow the jurors to see these composite sketches that police released in their search for the suspect. The prosecutor doesn't want these sketches shown, saying they were not used to ID Richard Allen, and he's afraid they'll either mislead or confuse the jurors. Now, the defense team believes these sketches are important because one of the women who helped create sketch number 1 says it matches the man that she saw. Our Chase Howell continues our team coverage in studio. He's been talking with our legal analyst, Katie Jackson-Lindsay. So what is she expecting here over the next several weeks?
Scott, I think we both know anything can happen in this trial. But right. Jackson-Lindsay says, one thing Jackson-Lindsay can say, I should say, is that this case in this trial is going to be run like a tight ship. Thursday was more of a housekeeping day for the courts as they prepare for Friday's trial day.
So as we have been able to observe throughout the pendency of the case, there were a lot of evidentiary issues that have been raised by either side filing motions. So today, the court basically took care of court business and addressed some of those outstanding issues through just some pre-trial hearings.
Criminal defense attorney Katie Jackson-Lindsay says it's likely the judge also addressed how the remainder of the trial will flow.
The judge would have taken today as an opportunity to explain, for example, the timing, how long each party gets for their opening statements or at what point they're going to take breaks.
Friday, the defense and prosecution will be making their first arguments to the jury, setting the tone for the weeks ahead.
The state should be using their opening statements to lay out their case, to tell the jury how they're going to meet their burden and the evidence that they're going to present. The defense should be using their opening statements as an opportunity to talk about why the state can't meet their burden and how they're going to challenge that evidence.
As we've reported, Judge Gohl wants this trial to be wrapped up by November 15th. But as Jackson Lindsay explains, that could be a tall order.
Here in Marion County, a normal homicide trial with pretty basic facts tends to last a week or less than a week. I would say most homicide trials are wrapped up in 3 to 4 days maximum. In this case, you have 2 victims, which plays into additional evidence, and you have a number of witnesses, and you have an investigation that lasted a little bit longer. And so I think 4 weeks is a reasonable time frame to get a murder case tried and for both sides to have an opportunity to be heard. But considering all of the nuances and the different pretrial issues that we have observed have happened in this case, that could cause this trial to extend a little longer than normal.
16 Allen County residents were selected as jurors. 8 of them are women and 4 of them are men. 4 others will serve as alternates. Reporting in Fort Wayne, Chase Howell, 13 News.
And we also learned the jury won't visit the crime scene during this trial. Allen's defense team withdrew that request but didn't explain why. Our Samantha Johnson traveled to the crime scene today along the Monon High Bridge Trail. She saw improvements in the area, including new paneling on the bridge and security cameras that were set up on the west side. And she talked to people living in Delphi who told her that they are hoping this trial brings healing for that community. Now, you can get caught up with this case right now. We've got this Delphi trial special that is streaming on demand right now on WTHR+. It's a free download over on Apple TV, Roku, and on Amazon Fire Stick. Angela?
Scott, clear skies, but not as cold tonight. No 30s on the map right now. We have 41 in Richmond and Columbus, 40 in Bloomington and Shelbyville, and still 49 degrees in Indianapolis and Lafayette. Still cold enough for some patchy frost early tomorrow morning. Sunrise is at 7:58. Early morning temperatures expected in the middle and upper 30s. We do have sunshine in your Friday forecast. 57 degrees at noon tomorrow. Highs will be a few degrees warmer than what we had today. Expecting the upper 60s tomorrow afternoon, but still cool for high school football on Friday night. Temperatures will be in the low 60s for kickoff. Our game of the week, Brownsburg and HSE. You will need the jacket. By the fourth quarter, temperatures down into the mid-50s.
Angela, thanks so much. A 14-year-old boy killed in a hit and run was remembered tonight with his balloon release by friends and family. Willie Rivera died last week on the far east side of Indy. The driver left the scene and now has been charged. But tonight, as Alex Almanza shows us, Willie's loved ones were back in that area, honoring the boy with a balloon release.
It's been almost a week now since 14-year-old Wilberto Rivera was riding his bike at night here on Cumberland Road when a car hit and killed him. Now a place of tragedy being turned into a place of hope and healing.
Life is precious. Amen. Let's hold it and let's value it.
A warm glow over a crowd of family members and friends. Some with smiles, laughs, others with tears and maybe a long hug to remember a life gone too soon.
It's hard, but we're maintaining.
And we're a strong family.
Fighting a good fight for Willie.
Willie was rushed to the hospital in critical condition and died just days later.
We have to figure out how to move forward.
And despite the grief and many questions on how to move forward, family like his cousin and aunt still find ways to keep their spirits high.
And he asked me, ironically, if something ever happened to him, would I be sad? And yes, Willie, we're all super, super sad.
And as his community remembers Willie for being a youthful, energetic kid,
he was a crazy spirit. He loved his family, his friends.
He volunteered and worked with his cousin for youth football for Warren.
The outpouring of love reminds them that they're not alone in their grief or their fight for justice.
I want something where people are held accountable and it's just not you're able to hit someone and walk away. That's what I want.
1, 2, 3.
Willie Strong!
And as we mentioned, one man is now charged in this case, Joshua Rain. He's facing one count of leaving the scene of an accident resulting in death. In fact, we just got the court documents in this case, and they say that Rain talked with police and said he thought he hit a deer.